Welcome to the Vale, a rare bastion of civilization in a world recuperating after a terrible, centuries-long war. Though the battles ended 200 years ago, the land still recovers from this period of tumultuous strife and slavery. Join now the defenders of the Vale as they navigate a world riddled with opportunity and tragedy, all the while seeking glory, gold, and adventure.
All right, so you guys have all woken up. Messages have been sent. Messages have been received. Grian, his folks are standing down here. They're all ready to do stuff. He's got his zombie boys right there, BOIS, of course. And the door to the pyramid is slightly ajar. What would you like to do?
Is it open or is it just like closed and still, closed?
If I was to describe it, I would probably say it was slightly ajar.
Hey, why didn't you
I
say
just
that
don't know
before?
what it means.
It's kind of it's two big swinging doors that close shut, but one of them is open a bit, kind of inviting you to make that dumb decision and go in there.
Should we just go in?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you want my
I don't
advice? I'll
know.
give you advice. Get on in there, buddy. Nothing wrong.
I just feel like, I know you like to go first, Onyx, but also it is a big enemy pyramid, so maybe there might be something bad in there.
We're going to take it down from the top again?
No,
like that idea.
I just mean maybe somebody who's good at noticing things should go first.
I wonder what that might be.
Yeah, would the person that goes in front preferably have dark vision?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
I can go first, I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a pretty good idea though.
Let's play leapfrog, see who gets there first.
How about somebody gives me cast a spell and gives me dark vision, because I know Roland did that a few times for me, so maybe if he wants to do it again, that would be perfect. So I can go and
Have you
scout
looked into
around.
see how dark it is in there?
It's dark. It's all I need to know.
Sure. Come in here, Rin. And I cast Dark Vision on Rin.
I'm gonna pull out a torch, but I won't light it yet.
Why use torches when you can have dark vision?
Well, I just feel like perhaps Runan's spells would be better used for, spell-y interruption than lighty see a lot.
Sure, but torches, they're gonna give us attention we don't want.
Well, that's why I won't turn it on yet. He does a very toothy smile.
So I'm gonna simply go ahead and sneak next to the door and just put my head in it and see what I can see. See what's ahead, sorry.
Where you see a black stone, kind of a black marble with white marble lines going through it. The walls are just like a black void, but you do see that there are torches lit every so often. And it's far. It's as far as you can see. That's what you see.
Okay. I'm gonna turn around and look at my people and say, well, I'm just gonna tell you, well, you were right, because there are torches on the walls in there, and they're going as far as I can see, so I guess it's safe to say we can all get in there and see what's inside, although I would prefer you guys let me scout it. Give me a few 30 feet of me going further, so
Okay.
something happens, well, at least I'm gonna be the one catching all the
Well, I won't be too far behind, so.
All right, this is the room Joe goes into. You guys pretend you're not in here yet.
All right,
Alright,
I'm
then.
gonna go ahead and scout about 30 feet, make an investigation and perception check to see if there are any traps.
Go ahead and make the checks.
Checks coming. Which one do you want first?
You can do both, so just go ahead and slam both of them out real quick.
30 thrilling too.
So you see what you see. You don't see any creatures. You don't see any traps. To the right and left of you, the walls, that blackness, it seems that that's not a wall. It's blackness that goes off forever.
I am going to use my magic gloves and throw a few tiny pointies in on the right, then on the left, to see if somehow it hits something or just goes into the void and just disappear.
They go for a couple of feet, and then you have no idea where they are.
Yeah, lights just kind of disappear, I guess. Okay. Well, I guess, guys, seems to be safe from where I'm standing, but like the walls were just complete darkness. So I would suggest not to just follow the path and not like go near the walls for now, unless Finn does have an idea about what that might be, or maybe Grok.
So
You
wait.
guys have
As
any
you're
mean-
talking, hold on. I got to interrupt you because you said you're going to go in, investigate, and come back. So now you're talking. Does this mean you've gone back and you're telling people outside what you saw?
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside and just put my head outside and come back, put my head outside, and just like say all that stuff.
So you've gone back and you've now told them what's going on.
Indeed.
Perfect. So he's told you guys. What are you guys doing?
Adjust your judgment.
I do not have Detect Magic prepared. If we want to wait 10 minutes, I could cast it and see if I see anything.
Well, I believe that would be more than welcome, and 10 minutes is nothing compared to what might like wait for us inside of this place.
10 minutes and 6 seconds later, Detect Magic is active. And then I will go in.
You're going to see pretty much the same thing no matter where you go in this room. The floor is the floor, but the ceiling and the walls almost blind you with a heavy amount of divine magic. But it's magic. It's magic of a divine nature. One might call it divine magic, and it's a lot, and it's strong.
I stopped concentrating on Detect Magic because that hurts my eyes a little.
It's
And,
pretty powerful.
I describe what I saw.
Divine? Like, good divine or bad divine?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's a great question.
I don't think there's much we can do other than explore and see what we see.
Yeah.
How high can I go before and stay short of the ceiling, whatever it is?
You're not sure. It looks like the walls look. Like you look up and you have to kind of, as your vision dims, it looks like it looks like it goes like black, like the
Okay.
walls.
I will go 30 feet up then and stay up there.
At about 15 feet, you thunk into the ceiling.
Okay. 15 feet up, I will stop going up.
I'm just like taking a look at him and like, dude, don't go too far.
Well, there's definitely a ceiling here.
Really?
I just bunked my head on it.
Is your head still there?
As far as I know, yes. I can't see
Okay.
it, so I don't know for sure.
Please be careful, Finn.
Careful is my middle name.
Robbie John
Cornelius Careful
feels like
Fan.
Robbie John feels like that's a lie, but whatever.
Yeah. Kind of dig that too.
What are you guys doing?
Pressing on.
Go ahead and move your token slowly down the hallway.
She'll be slowly down the hallway when she goes. Just gonna
The
move up.
windiness.
I'm gonna zigzag a little. You know?
Just saying,
Spice
but
it
I
up.
will keep on searching for whatever might be dangerous traps, clues about where we are and what that is, and the such.
This dark bit is very scary.
All right, Rabbi Jan. Do you see that? You see that torch to your left?
Yes.
On the ground near the torch is a book that has been discarded. It looks like a leather-bound paper book that has been discarded, and it's on the floor. It's a brownish leather with black inlay, and one of those little ropes that the fancy nerd journals have.
That's a bookmark.
Yeah, but it's a tag
Robbie
book.
John.
It's a book of marking.
Oh, okay. Well, Robbie John couldn't really care about that book because as she was creeping through the hallway, she thought she was behind people. And then when she came out of the black area, all of a sudden she's in the front. And now she's not too comfortable with this tunnel.
Is she ever comfortable with anything this dark?
It's not the dark. I would assume that Robbie John can probably sense a little bit of creepy stuff.
Ricky, can I have my continual flame spell?
I'd put it out there if it was going to make a difference. I don't want to grab it. You glow. You can glow.
What's in the book?
Words, some drawings, probably, maybe a poem.
Robbie John, do you mind if I take a look at it?
Look with your eyes, not your hands.
Well, then flip the pages for me. I'm gonna do an investigation
No.
check to make sure, like, if I can see any ciphers or anything that would be interesting.
So are you picking it up?
Well, it doesn't seem like Robbie John wants to. Yeah, I'm picking it up.
Robbie John says
Can I-
under her breath, I swear. Robbie John swears if you get cursed, Robbie John is not helping you.
I take a look at you. I'm like, you know, I'm the crash test dummy of this group, so just be grateful.
All right. So are you guys? Ren, are you picking that book up? Is that what's going on?
I said yes.
All right.
Like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, sassy. You see words in it. What languages do you speak, Ren?
I speak common and halfling.
Okay. You see words in a script you don't understand.
Hey guys, I see words in the script that I don't understand. I think Mr. Roland can. No, I think this is Mr. Basil that can read or understand every languages.
Sorry, not quite. If someone's saying it, I'll get it, but reading it, well, it's not quite the same.
That is so useless.
Sorry, Ren.
Let me see it. I'm sure I could figure it out.
Yeah, please take a look, man.
I speak giant and draconic.
You got nothing.
I look over.
I'm
my
going
shoulder.
to cast comprehend languages as a ritual while we're trying to figure this out. Or I'm going to start casting it, and then they'll probably interrupt and have the answer by the time I'm done.
Please, guys, does anybody has a needle on him?
It's a bit of a loaded question, right?
Yeah. Are you looking for a companion? You trying to get somebody some help?
I just gotta clean my pipe.
Is this the time?
So as comprehend
It's
languages,
always the time, buddy.
as comprehend languages is cast, you start to read it, and it looks like the journal. It reads like a journal. There's pictures in there occasionally, and you flip through. Do you want to spend time kind of looking at this journal to see what it is?
Yeah.
Now that you heard it, give me a percentile dice roll. There's about 100 pages, so as the journal reads, it goes, I've just had the page that you get to. So the way I was doing it is I was just breaking it down by percentage, and the journal is this person's life journal. So the lower the percentage, the younger they're going to be. The higher the percentage, the ender they're going to be, the older.
In this description, he is 74 years old.
Now they're going to be an ender. Well, 74% of their lifespan. If they only live 5 years, it's not 74 years.
True.
Right.
And that's on math.
So the journal reads, let's see. Let me spontaneously come up with a journal appropriate for that. So the kids came back to visit today. It was nice to see them. It was good that they came to check in on their father. He seems to be doing a little bit better. I really hope that they can stay and spend some more time later. Hopefully, when Abel's feeling better, they can come and help him out with some of the work around here.
Wait, what? Does he
Continue
relay
to
this
read.
information to us?
Yeah, I'm reading out loud.
What?
Do you read around that page? Is that what you're going to read?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the page and start reading the next page.
Okay, so for the next couple pages, what seems to be is whoever the reader is doesn't do a good job of identifying themselves, but they do spend a lot of time doting over family and Abel and the farm and the church and the followers and things like that.
Okay, that's weird.
I'm going to head to the front of the book, about quarter of the way in.
So you read the life of a young farm girl, somebody raised on a farm and kind of in the outskirts of an elven kingdom, and really kind of a humble. I didn't do this on purpose, but I was about to say humble beginnings. No connection. Maybe.
Oh.
But somebody who came from a very a poor, like almost O'Malley's crappy potato farm kind of beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is O'Malley's kid.
Not anymore.
And then some story about somebody stealing one of the potatoes.
Like in plain sight.
Some
Like,
weird
look,
Yeah,
guys, I'm trying to
exactly.
steal me a tater.
history repeats itself. The prophecy.
As you kind of scroll through to save you from saying I read more and more, this is an entire life of a young farm girl who never names herself. and talks about how just at the beginning she had learned to write because her dad was a clergyman, and she kept a journal at her dad's behest, and then everything was boring until this very handsome, very charismatic young man showed up one day, and then it's a super romantic thing. He fell in love. He never left. He stayed there. He helped take over the farm when her father passed away. Abel and his wife took over the farm duties, had kids, raised it, and Abel dies at a very old age. And the young lady outlives him. And at the very last entry is, I'm glad the kids have come to visit me. I hope I get to see them again tomorrow. And then she never writes in the journal again.
So the lady outlived Abel.
That's what the journal says.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose it could be a different Abel. I mean, it probably is a different Abel. I mean,
Hey, buddy, how many Abel do you know?
well, I mean,
Yeah, but there's bound to be more than one Abel in the world.
exactly. And I'm not certain a lot of people would marry Abel. No offense to him, but he's Abel.
Maybe Robbie Shaw?
I mean, have you met the guy? I wouldn't marry the guy. He's a bit weird.
Well, yes. You see, I'm glad that Grok is agreeing with me, very much so today. I mean, I don't know what this journal is doing here, this unnamed writer. It seems like, I don't know, does it look like it's from a long time ago?
How about if it's his son?
It is. I mean, it's a book. It looks like it's seen some wear and tear. I don't think there's any.
Can I, evaluate the age of this book by looking at it? Is this something that I could do with investigation?
I'm gonna say, just to prevent you from rolling a thing and accidentally getting a D20 and feeling bad when I shoot you down. There's nothing in your character history that says that you know anything about aging books.
What about me?
Maybe with the stage background. Maybe
Mr. Finn.
Also maybe.
That's another maybe.
That is a maybe. I'm trying to evaluate one. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you guys make an investigation? Either Grok or Finnileas make an investigation check with an advantage. You guys work it out.
Can it be history because it applies to old books?
No, because that's studying a history subject. But make the investigation check with advantage, and then if you do really well, I'll give some information about the book.
Come on, guys! It's 325 years old. Let's leave the book alone and go.
It's a worn journal. It's older. You've read books. I mean, I'm going to take with the 15. You've read old books before. This book is at least a couple hundred years old, and you can see thumbprints, like where the same person has read the book over and over again. You can almost see their hands etched into the leather binding. Like you can see the same person holds the book at the same time, and they've read it over and over and over again.
Oh, that I could do something about. If I wanted to measure the hand of some able guy and just see if it fits, or could I, or is it just far-fetched?
Yeah, if you want to leave and go find Abel and measure his fingers, I will absolutely let you.
Cool.
Are you leaving to go measure Abel's fingers?
I have to think about it first.
We're in the middle of something. This book can wait.
Yeah, we're not going there right now.
So you guys taking the book with you?
Yeah, I'm keeping the book. It's my new book.
All right, make a note on your character sheet about it.
This time
What should I call it?
That's an important book, guys.
No, just gotta make sure you know that it's there, because it is.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be important.
Grok has grabbed the book. What else would you like to do?
Let's go.
Continuing course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and slowly move up the hallway. You can move a little less slow. There we go.
I'm gonna move even slower now.
Okay, now go ahead and rush up.
I'm gonna step back a bit, and then I'm gonna go forward again.
All right, Ren. You see another book up and to the right a little bit, Ren.
1 is happenstance. 2 is a paper trail.
Yeah.
Literally a paper trail.
Literally a paper trail.
I go running up. I'm like, oh, look, another book. And I go pick it up and I start reading that book.
Oh, please don't run on the bridge that crosses the void of blackness, please!
Oh, come on, let him.
All right. Make a dexterity check to see if you fall into. I'm just kidding. You can run it up.
He is a turtle.
You just pick the.
Falling
book
is
up?
their worst enemy.
You just pick it up and start reading it. You said.
I just pick it up and start reading it.
So this is going to be the same sort of thing. It's a journal. It's written from the perspective of another lady. It's written from the perspective of a young life with a adventuring knight named Abel. Except for this one, Abel went off to fight in a holy war and never returned. No children, no farm, no nothing. The handwriting appears to be just about the same.
What?
Off to a holy war.
Well, it's starting to get confusing right now.
This journal is a lot shorter. It's probably 30, 40 pages. It was a whirlwind romance immediately after Abel had received a summons from the king, into which he went off to go fight something. It just mentions the war.
Does anybody know what kind of war this could have been? I haven't done much. I haven't done a lot of reading into the wars of this land, but
Yeah, it's a war of fighting.
okay, yes. Thank you. Onyx.
Yeah, pretty sure Onyx is right about this one.
I agree.
It's a war about fighting.
I was more concerned about the specifics of why they were fighting.
Because they didn't like each other.
This would be a good opportunity if somebody wants to volunteer to make a history check,
I'm on it.
or someone's. I'll let multiple people roll. I don't mind for this.
Oh my god, could Grok use his shell as a dice tray to like roll the dice in?
What?
Better have some pretty specific details with those rolls.
Guys,
Yeah,
chill.
we're getting some
So
really-
Brock got 11 or 12. He almost was on the cusp of greatness. Finnileas, you've been around a while and you've spent a lot of time being a nerd. It's kind of your guy.
With that crit.
With that crit, with your natural 20, it's a total of 30. Grok almost got a 30. If he had advantage, it would have been 2 30s in a row. Dear Lord, you guys.
Grok rolled a 2 and a 20.
So,
I'm a bow for rolling a 2 and getting a 12.
yeah, okay, so I'm going to give the explanation. Calm down, guys. There's several wars which could have been a holy war, right? There's several wars which could have been, and then knowing that Abel is an elf, or was an elf, you become a little baffled because there's no known elvish holy war. There was a small skirmish where the Dwarven kingdoms that used to be under the Veil fought against demons. And then there was weirdly enough, Ren's tribe of halflings fought against a devil and his forces in a couple of battles, but nothing that was a big war. Nothing that would be like nothing Crusades, level, which is kind of how the writer in this journal describes it.
I guess that either this person is writing fiction, or either this person is writing fiction. So that only leaves. Because, I know about some of the elements of this, but it wasn't as big as it sounded in that book. Or, yeah, Rabbi John, totally agree with you. But,
Are you taking that book too?
Of course, I'm finding a library. This is awesome.
Make sure you put a note for any and all books that you collect. And if you guys are done, you can move. You can keep moving down the hallway.
I mean, but what are these books doing here? This is not the place to store your various time-spanning life memories.
No, but it is a place to put books so people stop instead of keep going forward.
Yeah, that might be true.
I find you're often right a lot more than I would expect, Onyx, and it does unnerve me somewhat.
Onyx's character terrifies and amuses me to no end. Because you expect him to say something stupid, and he does often, but then he comes through with that weird rock wisdom. Finnileas, just ahead of you, you see another journal laying there on the ground. And I would point out that one thing you guys all would have noticed are these journals from the outside look 100% the same.
So I'm gonna pick up the book and I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna check out the first page and then we're gonna move on.
Someone someone has messed with the timelines in a Back to the Future type way.
I
See
see.
an awfully wibbly and whimy. Timey
Barry
Timey
Allen
wimey.
did it again.
Wibbly wimey, timey limey. Nice try.
I just don't want to be so loud. My wife laid down. All right, so you pick this journal up, and this journal reads as it starts off, you're just reading the first page or two?
Yeah, kind of like reading the first paragraph. Or
The first
even
30 pages, this is the fullest journal of the ones you've seen so far. The first 30 pages are simply names and then a slash through it.
So every name has a slash through them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the names
Like
are
a-
written in the black ink and the slashes are in a red ink.
Like a kill list or something like that.
You read the rest of the journal. So are you reading past the list?
No, Onyx is annoyed that we're stopping to read books, and
Okay. Then that's all you see.
we'll get back to reading later.
Robbie John might vote to read a few pages.
Yeah, Ren will agree as well. Maybe there are
Okay,
some
then
things in there
I'll
we
go ahead
didn't
and
miss.
keep reading.
A young Assassin's Guild member. The first pages after you read look to be a tally with only brief notes. The other people wrote long, flowing descriptions and loving scripts. This person writes very abruptly and to the point, same handwriting as the other two. This person just says, new member, experienced guild, looks like a loser. Loser's pretty good at his job. Won't kill yet. Loser's name is Abel. And then later, Abel takes over guild. I'm second hand, expecting first child. And that's the last entry.
What?
I've got
I
a
mean-
headache now.
It could all be coincidence.
Yeah, sure.
But also, this
Sure.
is Abel.
Robbie John is gonna roll her eyes really hard at Basil.
If I would... Okay. I understand. I'm just, but if...
All right, Onyx, you're walking by a book there. Do you do anything with it?
Yeah, I grab the book, I go over to the torch, and I burn it.
I see.
What?
Better read fast, it's on fire.
No, the paper is older and is burnt to a crisp. Now all that's left is the leather bindings.
Oh crap, there's more books.
Yeah, Onyx has noticed the books.
Onyx, I have a feeling that was important.
I'm gonna start gathering up as many of these books as I can. We'll go.
Each
through.
of those boxes has about 40 of those journals in them.
Okay, well, we're gonna get a huge lore dump later.
So you're stopping now to overload your character with books? Are you guys gonna investigate the hallway? What are you doing? What are you guys doing?
I have
Oh,
a portable
ridiculous.
hole inside my shell. I am loading myself up. I'm loading that thing up.
Wait. Finnileas, did you see any of this with the arcane eye?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of this, no.
Then what's it doing here now? This is ridiculous. I mean, no offense to Abel, but I didn't really expect that now would be... Basil would like to use his stillness of mind, I think. Yeah, this is it. As an action, he can end one effect that's causing him to be charmed or frightened.
You
I would
feel the
just
same.
like to see if Ravijan recognized the writing in those journals. Does it seem like to be her kind of writing? Is it like the same as hers, or is it like different? I'm trying options there, guys.
Jen, do you want to take a look at the writing?
Robbie John will, probably because Mr. Wren is like thrusting the book at her, like, look at this!
Give me a
But-
percentile dice roll, Rabbit Jane.
Okay, but still, before acknowledging whether or not she understands, she's going to proceed to unceremoniously slap the book out of Wren's hand. And I rolled an 83.
You 100% recognize the handwriting, but it goes way back. No, it's not your handwriting, Rabbit Jane.
Damn.
Way back.
Yeah, you've got family, right?
I mean, I guess.
I knew something was off about her and her romance.
Ew, Finn, no!
So you can't quite place it, but you 100% have seen this handwriting before. They've given you all the hints you're going to get from it.
Robbie John is thoroughly uncomfortable.
Come on. Think hard.
Ravijan may squint down at Mr. Finn and, maybe give him a little love tap across the side of his head. Just be like, go.
You'd have to jump. I'm 15 feet in the air.
I think I meant, did I say Finn? I meant Ren. I'm sorry.
It rhymes,
Oh.
but they're not the same person.
I mean, I'm used to it being me.
That's fair.
As we're walking along, can Basil just sort of like, I don't really know how to describe this, but I guess sort of like strain his hearing just to sort of see if, listen out for anything that he might have missed. Because he's feeling very confused about what Finnileas told us about this place and what we're seeing now.
Okay, so you're trying to make a perception check to see if this is a fake place?
Something along those lines, yeah. That's a pretty
Go ahead and
good
make a perception check.
25.
This is what you think it is. It's a creepy floor place with creepy walls and creepy books. And all of your best friends.
Feels about as real as me.
No, it feels way more real than you do.
Am I offended? I think
No,
my
you're fine.
feelings
You're fine.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was worried.
It's a person in fireball range.
We've
All right,
caught up
you
to
guys
Rin on the map.
Once you guys come out and you catch up to about where Ran or Basil is, Onyx can go a little bit further. Go ahead and stop for a second, and I'm going to describe you some things. All right, so as you guys kind of come up, distracted by the books, you step forward, and you see a giant stone chair with 7 rods with kind of ruby-colored orbs at the top, and you see 5 floating spheres that have letters just kind of growing. Like the script is always changing. Sometimes you recognize the language for a brief bit, but as the sphere swirls, the language switches and you don't kind of recognize it anymore. And the spheres are actually emanating a pretty bright light, which is what's causing all the light at the end of this hall here. Once you look past the spheres, you see Abel, but you see a very old version of Abel. And he's in a chair, and it looks like the chair has what I'm going to call IVs in him.
IVs is the saline that is given to the patients.
Yeah. The chair has lines that have come up and they have embedded themselves into him, attaching him to the chair.
Oh my.
And he looks old. Would not surprise you if this was an undead Abel. And he's just he usually is well presented, but at this point in time, he's got tattered slacks. No socks, no shirt, no armor, no fancy hat. His hair is unkempt. He looks just a damn mess.
So, when we can see him from where we are, right? And we can see it's clearly Abel. Oh, well, clearly audible. Are we able to see him from here or no?
Yeah, that's how I described him.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was like as we were approaching. So I think when I see him, I sort of like stop and just sort of like instinctively like look around at the rest of the group like, hey, you see this? He was... And at that point, I think Basil would realize something else is amiss and be like, where are Gry and the others? They didn't come with us?
No, they were going to do other things while you guys were doing this. They were going to help secure the town.
Ah, okay. Right, okay. Do we all see him? That's not just me. That oddly able-looking man.
Just you.
It's definitely not you. It's Abel.
Yes. That's the problem.
Anyone's gonna engage in conversation with him, or shall we just stay here and watch the old man die?
I instinctively look at Ravijan.
Did you say that out loud, Ren?
Yeah.
The body in the chair kind of chuckles and goes,
I hate that voice.
If you're waiting for me to die, you're going to be there quite a while.
Yeah, how long is that?
I'll tell you when I get to the number.
Ravi-chan is going to move forward towards the Abel in the chair.
As you move forward, he sees that it's you moving forward, and he kind of sits up and kind of attempts to like straighten himself out a little bit.
Basil's gonna sort of tentatively move behind her as well.
Why are you guys here? You're a little early.
Are we? I feel like we're late. I feel like we've missed something very, very important.
Oh, you've missed a lot of things. Or you've discovered a lot of things. It really kind of depends on when and who and what version of you is proposing the question.
What does that
Hey, take a chill pill, Basil. Don't panic.
Does Robbie John notice anything different about Abel as she gets closer to him?
He's happy. He seems happier that you're there.
That's threatening.
He's waking up.
Robbie John is going to get relatively close, but stay on the other end of these orbs.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check, Robbie. Don't mess it up.
Robbie John
girl.
rolled a 29. I mean, unless I needed a 30, I'm pretty sure I didn't mess that up.
Let me get my envelope of notes.
Ho ho!
Oh god, it's one of those guys.
As you walk up close to that first orb, and you kind of like you're kind of putting your hand, because they are emanating a pretty decently bright light. Through your fingers, you notice that at a certain time, the letters align into a language that you comprehend. And at that point in time, it's almost like you're thrown into a movie theater. And what you see is you see a great void, similar to the one you're looking out to your right and left. And a bright light comes moving through this void. And this bright light is a giant figure. And it looks like an old kind of, think King Arthur knight. It's got that plate mail and a giant sword made of fire. And he kind of comes coming through. And then you feel a wrongness as a massive void attacks this creature. And now this giant creature and this void are engaged in a battle. And this battle goes on for a long time. You feel like you're watching this for thousands of years. Like, this is the most monotonous battle you've ever seen. As these creatures fight, they keep moving. Like, they don't stop where they're at and fight. They just keep moving into the distance. And from the sparks of the sword and from the blood of the void and from the blood of this creature, the gods and goddesses that you recognize are born. And what you're watching is effectively your creation of your universe.
Okay.
So is Robbie John just like tripping out before us? We just look at this with our eyes rolling back in our head.
You guys
She
see
looks
Robbie
like-
Jan walk. You see Rabbit Jan walk to where she is within that distance of that first orb, and the orb lights up and it's shining a beam of light at Robbie John, only for not even a second. And then at the end of that, Robbie John comes out and she can react however she wants to from that.
I will run to her side.
Robbie John is gonna look stunned for a couple of seconds like a cat that has brain freeze. And then she's gonna do a lot of real fast blinking and kind of shake her head and try to figure out what the F that just was.
As you come out of the vision, you kind of blink for a little bit. Abel goes, "Man, you make the same face every time."
What?
I also say what in unison.
Probably the same high pitch, just you and her.
Yes. Yes.
Basil, give me a
Yeah.
perception check.
Okie dokie.
Right, you see
18.
the same thing
The same thing?
that she saw that I described.
Oh, like the mind laser? Okay.
Well, the mind, you don't see the mind laser, you see the vision.
Oh.
And the mind laser.
Well, yeah. I fall on my ass when I snap out of it. Okay!
Robbie John is wondering maybe how many times she's been brain fried by that thing.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes, that is a question to old Abel in chair.
Once.
He looks at you and he goes, 4,772.
What?
I have half a mind to channel some water into Basil's mouth so I can spit take.
You're right. You have half a mind.
Okay.
Finnileas, go ahead and give me a perception check. You're fine.
10.
You don't see nothing.
For the audience, Finnileas also approached the area of the bridge that we're on with the orbs.
So, in picking up random books, what do I find?
Just different stories that I'm not going to go into, all of them about life with Abel.
Hella books.
Okay.
There's 4,771 versions of Abel's life.
Have I ever done that before, Abel? Old bull?
Yeah. Did you call me old? Did you call me old bull?
There's a lot of information to process right now, and I like to compartmentalize. Okay? I mean no offense by it. What is happening?
You're learning. You're taking a class in history right now, it looks like.
A bit much history for mere seconds, Abel. Was that real?
Was it or is it?
Robbie John doesn't like this game.
I thought you meant the Roll20 game. I was like, I'm sorry.
No. Robbie
Ran-
Sean
Ran
doesn't
just
like
go-
mind games.
This is a lot. I'm just saying it's a lot right now. Is that...
Listen, each of these orbs tell a bit of history, real history, that most people don't know about. If you touch the orb, you can learn it. If you just walk by, sometimes people look at it long enough and they can catch glimpses of their languages to see it. But if you want to learn, each of these orbs tell a bit of history. And then he coughs and he kind of leans his head back against the chair, exhausted for a second as he breathes shallowly.
Oh, that's too much for Finnileas. Finnileas moves forward and touches the first orb.
And Finnileas, as soon as you place all 5 fingertips on the orb, you are blasted into. I'm just kidding. You see the history. And at that point in time, go ahead and make another perception check for the other orb you're close enough to. And do me a favor. I need you to pick. Am I going from top to bottom or bottom to top, Finnileas? You pick.
Top to bottom.
Easier on my brain, thank you.
Okay, so you've touched this first orb right here, and now you're close enough to this orb that you've made a perception check of 14, which is enough, and you are blasted away. Almost coming straight from the creation myth, you see one being identifiable by the word that kind of hangs into his chest, 2 letters, an I and an O, Io. And this being separated himself at some point in time and becomes 2 separate beings. One a giant platinum dragon, and another a 5-headed dragon of multicolors that you've seen before. But you see that these 2 dragons spawn forth all the metallic and chromatic dragons, and then both Bahamut and Tiamat, who were the 2 dragons that the Io became, have done experiments and created other types of dragons you see. You see a dragon that looks like he's made of steel. You see a couple of dragons that look like they're made of gemstones. You see some dragons that looks like they're made of just shadow. And realize that there are more than just the 2 main families of dragons. It's just when it comes to the commonality of dragons, those are the 2. And you see you see Bahamut and Tiamat arguing about something, a difference in opinion or whatnot. And then you see them start to fight, and their dragon flights start to fight. And this happens before even the creation of the planet that you're on, which is created at some point in time during, but kind of unrelated to the battle that the dragons are in.
Basil would like to kip up off the floor, back onto his feet, and will, while making, cautious eye contact with Abel, sort of gingerly make his way towards this orb higher up here.
Okay, give me a perception check there.
Okay.
Robbie John is going to hang back and watch other people's expressions before she gets any closer to any more orbs.
26.
From the first one, as you see the giant being of light and the bead of void flying away, at one particular time, a chunk of the being of light and being of void land and are mixed, and massive beings are created from it. And you recognize the name. You recognize 2 of them. You see Anum the Allfather and Othea. Both are giant gods and goddesses, and they are the mother and father of all the giants. And you watch as Othea at some point in time finds other beings and has affairs, creating all the different types of giants and sub-giant races. And you see Anam. You see Anam at some point in time when Othea's having these affairs leave, and you learn a little bit about giant culture. You feel that Anam was very particular about rules. He's also chaotic. I know this sounds weird, but one thing he was particular about is everybody needs to know their place. And so there's something that was called the Ordning, right? So every giant race knows if they're superior or inferior to another giant race. And every giant in that race, in that city, in that town, know if they're superior or inferior to another giant in that town. And you can move up and down within race with trials of combat and things like that. But this seems to be very important, and it's something that you pick up as you're watching all this happen. And that's it.
I want to sort of...
I'm just going to assume you guys are going to touch all the orbs. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not touching a single one of them.
I know Finnileas is gonna. He loves touching orbs. It makes Rabbi Jan's heart go.
I mean, hey, this is a thing that Abel has laid out for us, and it's Basil and Finnileas interacting with them. What could possibly go wrong? Me and Finn have a great track record with touching artifacts of Eldritch power. So I think this will be fun.
And so, as you go to touch one, there's 2 more orbs there. You want to hear about demons or devils first, Finnileas?
Demons.
So, as the 2 giants make their way through combat, and they go off into the distance, and a part of this void, which is especially black, mixes, and a portal appears, kind of, and you see a couple of great beings come from a realm that just looks alien. Right? If it was Star Trek, it'd be like the Quantum Zone at this point in time. What up? And these weirdly shaped beings start to etch apart a chunk of this void, and it's very chaotic and hateful. And there's no law and order here at all. And great beings of power come, and you start to see from that a little bit of organization just from strength. You guys have seen pictures of Orcus before. Finnileas, you've heard about Demigorgon. You know that there's a couple of others like Gratz and Bahamut and Yenog and stuff, Yenagu and stuff like that. And you start to see some of these take form, and just in the beginning's a massive battle between themselves. And that battle never really stops as they kind of beat themselves into like an order. It's a rule of strength, but it's less like the ordning from giants and more just like mass chaos, right? And then when you go to the next one, you see from the being of light, there was a definite realm of angels and things like that, like holy monsters, solars, and kind of that divine, that super extreme like light like that. You see some of the children or the creations, the gods that were created had come to make that their home. You see some of the other ones that were created head towards that abyss that had been made. And one in particular leaves and is angry after years of fighting with those demons, and takes a few with him, and he starts to organize a better attack. Instead of just being reactive to these demons, he wants to eliminate them. And so you see this high archangel go down and create an army, and you start to see another group that are similar to the demons, but way more organized. And you see the creation of the devils and the 9 hells. And unlike the demons, which are really chaotic and really sporadic, these are very organized and a little bit more like the giants, where everybody has their place. Now, there's schemes and all sorts of things to kind of move up and down the ladder, but you start to see this. And with this, you see the start of a war. There's this blood war, where the only thing keeping either the demons or the devils from invading the material plane and destroying everything you guys have worked done is the fact that they have each other to fight. Nobody touch a hit point. Nobody touch a spell slot, or I will delete you.
Hello and welcome to the mid-roll. We've just been hanging out down here at the Humble Beginnings, having quite the afternoon. So we got Rin really drunk and dared him to borrow one of Finnileas' spellbooks. And wouldn't you know it, he comes back with one of Finnileas' journals instead. I don't know. Maybe we should give it a read. I mean, a little peek won't hurt, right?
Mother suggested that I start writing a journal. I'm not sure I understand the point, but she believes that it will help me. So here goes. I find that I don't really know what to say. I guess that's my journal entry for today. So, no big surprise, Mother was right. Keeping a journal has been amazing for me. I doubt very much that it has been good for me in the way she expected or desired. Nonetheless, I have enjoyed it very much. I can see this being an activity that I maintain throughout my lifetime. I can't hardly imagine what looking back on some of these early journal entries will be like for me in the distant future. As I draw ever closer to the end of my schooling, I grow more and more dissatisfied with my knowledge. My teachers have been quite proficient at teaching the basics, the foundation for knowledge, and I've read so much of what the Great Library has to offer. Yet, I can't help but notice that the more I learn, the more I understand how little I actually know. I desire to know more. More importantly, I desire to understand the meaning of all the knowledge. I fear I will never discover the meaning of it all anywhere.
Oh shoot, here he comes. Quick, put her away, Act natural.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
so,
hey guys.
Just stop
passing,
the temple.
passing through.
She said, Ravijan's having a surge.
Pete, could I
we should
just
go check
get
that out.
a water?
Oh.
No, really,
Right.
Water's fine. Water, just water. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the beer.
Yeah, yeah, maybe we should just get back to the show. All right? Yeah, let's do that.
All right, Grok, you've been reading books the whole time, right?
Yeah, I have been completely oblivious to all this going on because I'm reading.
Rabijan, I'm gonna message you in Discord.
Oh,
Even when it's someone else, Robert John's in danger.
It's so bad, Ricky. If you started combat right now, I wouldn't roll initiative. Something loud would have to happen to grab his attention.
You've gotten a few more stories, Grok, as you're going through, and it's some of them are simple and some of them are magnificent. Sometimes and the handwriting is 100% the same every time, and the wear and tear on the journals is the same every time. And you actually come to a point where you realize that somebody is reading these books in order, and you've come to the part where they're at now. Does that make sense? You see one marker, like a slab of slate, kind of separating the journals from where you're at. And so in that journal, there's nothing fantastic. That's just where they're at in the order. And they've read these journals just over and over and over and over and over again. Sometimes Abel is a magician, sometimes Abel is an assassin, sometimes Abel is a farmer, sometimes Abel is a king, sometimes Abel is a whatever, but every story involves this woman and their time together. It's always a journal from that person's perspective.
It's so Rabijan.
Rabijan's got but one life to give.
Seems like he's just writing different stories, and none of it's true.
Onyx is going to get his halberd and try to push it towards the wall in front of him, trying to see if it goes through.
There's a little bit of resistance, but it goes through pretty easily. And you can see where the wall is, which is weird because it looks like it goes on forever, and your halberd just disappears as you're pushing it through the wall.
Okay, and I bring it back out and it's there. Okay, I'm grabbing my immovable rod and jumping through the wall.
What do you
And then
do
whenever I
with
get through the wall, I'm going to click it to make sure I don't fall anywhere.
All right, you are in a nightmare. There's wind howling. You can't see anything. It feels like things are touching you. And you're just in the middle of nothingness. And you're holding on. It feels like you're being pulled a little bit as well. And as far as sound goes, it sounds like you're in a hurricane almost.
Nope, this is not where they're doing the ritual.
You do anything else? You're just hanging out and weird down.
Well, I'm going to try to swing back and then unclick and click whenever I get back through. So I'm going to try to come back out.
Do that, and you've taken 1 hit point of damage, and you see it's rounded down to 1, and you have scratches all across your body now.
How did he landed back?
Yep,
Okay.
he's back in.
Don't go in there.
Onyx, did you leap off the bridge?
No, I leapt through the wall.
Is that better? I look at Abel. Is that better?
No, he should definitely not do that.
Abel, what's out there?
Well, you saw the creation myth, right? You've
That's
seen.
here!
You've seen what the abyss is.
I?
You want to hear something impressive?
No, but I'll humor you.
The very first clash of the sword from the light that hit the form of the void created the planet that we're on.
I saw that.
People think that this planet's real young, but this is actually the first planet that was ever created. And here's something for you guys. We're not the only planet. There are other planets out there. Mind flayers, the disgusting tentacly face guys, they come from elsewhere.
I thought that's where Tabaxi came from.
I'm not a plant.
Tabaxis come from problematic places as well, but not like that.
Oh, this is a lot. This is a lot for... Why now? What are you doing here? You're not a cultist. Are you a cultist?
No, God, no. And I've been here for a long time. And he looks tired again.
Then what are we doing here?
No, I don't know the future.
The future from now or the future from before?
Oh, God.
There's only one future.
Really?
No.
Well, it's quite linear, depending on your perspective. And from my perspective, everything's happened in an order.
Like the giants.
There's multiple futures because last week, tomorrow was my future. And then I got there and it wasn't my future no more.
He goes, his brow furrows, and he goes to argue with you, and he goes, I'm just going to let you be right.
Abel, all this talk about future and abyss and all that stuff, it's amazing and insightful, but it's not what we came here for. What is going on?
Quite frankly, you're not supposed to be here for another 10 years.
What does that mean?
It means you're here now. I've been expecting you for 10 years, which reinforces the fact that I don't know the future.
It means we're ahead of schedule, Basil.
Is this what you look like in 10 years?
Well, how would I know what I look like in 10 years?
I don't know. Look down.
I don't know if I'll look the same in 10 years. Maybe somebody will kill me by then. Maybe I'll lose an arm. Maybe I'll have a one-eyed pirate thing going. Maybe I'll grow a goatee.
Oh, that would be cool.
As you guys are talking, you see Finnileas moving from each orb and touching the orb over and over again, and the same light transaction happens as he's studying the history of everything.
So, why are we supposed to be here and only 10 years and not now? What does that even mean?
I have a plan, and for the most part, you guys have been following my plan to the T. I don't appreciate you being this early. How did you get here?
Through the door.
Yeah.
Basil, you kill me. Yeah, the damn door.
I don't know what's so funny, because we came through this door expecting to stop a bunch of cultists from doing whatever magical who's-a-what's-it to our town.
The cultists are doing a magical who's-a-what's-it?
Yes, in the pyramid.
I'm not in a pyramid.
Onyx is right, we should have gone from top to bottom. This was a mistake.
Well, if we went from top to bottom, apparently it would have taken 10 years to get to the bottom.
Oh, you guys have tried the top to bottom thing before. It did not work out well.
Told you, Onyx, it was a bad idea.
Okay, we go from top to bottom. The rocks fall on him. He dies. So, of course, it's a bad idea to him.
You can't kill me.
This is right. It's all about perspective.
People much stronger than you have tried to kill me.
Like who?
Do you guys want to hear a story?
I guess we have time.
I mean, if you don't got time, I'm not going to stop you from leaving.
No, we have 10 years. It's fine. Go ahead. Tell us the story.
That's me laughing, not Abel.
Basil just puts his head in his hands.
I mean, if we're 10 years ahead of schedule, I mean, we might as well waste a little time and listen to his story.
But what about Centervale?
Robbie-chan is gonna get, right to the foot of the chair and kind of sit down and wait impatiently for a story.
Just like she did whenever he was telling her the stories whenever she was a little kid.
You guys, most of you have seen the orbs, and you've seen the history. This is a true history. It is a true history of how things were done. And at one point in time, this being the by premier I mean the first world, this is the closest to the creators that any of the other worlds in existence have been. Now there's a giant pantheon, an amalgam of gods and goddesses who have many aspects that they control. Right? Freya has responsibilities or circles of influence that she's ahead of, and all these gods had this, and there's a lot. But here we've got 6 or 7 gods. But that's not the right amount. That's only the amount of gods that were here when I closed us off from time.
Is that legal?
Oh, I'm in a lot of trouble. One of the reasons why I have yet to unclose us all from time is there will be, as some people put, hell to pay once I do. The other part is everything will die once we do that.
Why?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Forgot some details. Let's go back. You see, you guys met Tiamat and Asmodeus, and you may have seen Sujiri whenever we were there. You guys know who those three are? Any questions about the identities that we're talking about? Oh, Sujiri. Sujiri, yes. God of death, destruction, torture.
Who?
All around rich guy.
Robbie John is gonna jump up and like yell and say, "Stop saying that name!"
I'm not going to repeat it, guys. The woman has spoken.
I'm not familiar, I don't think. I hope I'm not, but I suppose I get the concept.
Roland
Sounds a lot like Orcus or something.
make a religion check. Actually, anybody can make a religion check. The difficulty is going to change based off who makes it.
Rin's got an 18.
So did Basil.
Rock got an 8.
Roland got a 4.
Anybody, everybody, doesn't matter. Different words, same meaning. Anybody who wants to roll can do it. All right, so Rin and Basil would recognize this as a horrific god who people make sacrifices to in exchange for power. A lot of times people who head down the path of undeath voluntarily follow this guy's path. Either A, on a promise to gain power, or B, terrified that their soul will end up in his arena, and so they choose undeath over eternal life with this guy. And again, his domains, or circle of influences, are death, destruction, and torture. He's not a pleasant guy at all.
Okay. I take it back. I do know what we're talking about. I just forgot.
Roland and Grok have no damn idea. And so Abel will say, so these Tiamat, Asmodeus, and Sujiri were unhappy with their station. And they were looking to gain the pieces of both the Eternal Void and Eternal Light that combat each other and created this planet. And since this was the first planet to be created, they figured the essence of light and void found inside this planet would be the most pure. Pure speculation. Nobody knows. They're getting some weird guesswork here. And then once I saw what they were doing, I hid the planet from them. And unfortunately, I can only hide the planet for X amount of time. And so as we hit the end of the time, I'm sacrificing my essence, and it restarts it, and we're all back at the beginning.
Okay, so question here. What are you?
I'm Abel, a
That's not the question.
dashing, dapper young man who's just trying to experience life.
Is the Abel that we know and patronage to you?
Right, the Abel you know, you've spoken with me.
That was you?
I mean...
Is you?
Yeah, ish.
So this is the first time that everything's restarted?
No. Oh, no. Oh, I've experienced a full life and died 4,771 times. We're approaching the 4,772nd time that I've had to die.
Robbie John feels like that would be tiring.
It is tiring. He takes a deep sigh and he looks straight at you and goes, "It is tiring."
Does that mean that every time that you die, everything resets?
Yes, I give my life essence to reset the spell, because the only thing keeping us outside of time is myself. So, Asmodeus, Tiamat, and Sujiri have committed a ritual and sacrificed many of their followers to filter negative energy through Sujiri, which was directed at the planet. And that beam is projected to happen at about the time that I pull the planet out and jump back and restart the clock.
Cool. Now, how about you answer my question now?
I'm just a guy with a plan.
Yeah, right. I call bullshit, but...
Robbie John is wondering how we've been able to speak to and know and see you outside of here if you are here.
Oh, it's a simple kind of an illusion trick. Right, your wizard friends can probably go over the minor details. I mean, I've changed it up I've jazzed it up a little bit.
Robbie John is thoroughly confused.
You said we were supposed to meet you in 10 years.
That was my estimate, yes. Rarely do my estimates get undone or not happen. I'm a pretty good guesser.
Is 10 years when you expected yourself to begin perishing, or?
Oh, there's not really a beginning or ending to it. It just happens. It's like that.
So why 10 years? Why were we supposed to meet you in 10 years? What changed?
I actually would love to frickin' know what changed. Until this time, 4,771 times I was correct at about the time that the group would meet me. Now the group members change every so often. You guys aren't all here. Not all of you have been here 4,770 now 2 times. Only a few of you.
Rabijan has?
Which one?
It's history. You don't need to know. Bother with all that. That doesn't. He kind of mumbles off.
Is there anyone that comes back every single time?
He takes a real deep breath and he goes, well, you all have lived that many times, that many lifetimes. Just not all of you have been together as friends for that many lifetimes. And it's certainly not here that many lifetimes.
God, that's so frustrating.
Well, I remember when we were first alluded to the fact that Abel was something odd. We were told that he was an aberration. I don't know what that means or if it's relevant, but
Yeah, so I'm not gonna answer that question as a DM, but that's a possibility. That's a really good possibility.
Abel.
Flippy boy.
Basil sort of grins because he quite likes that nickname. Who was the woman that wrote all these journals?
Pretty private question.
Okay.
What would you trade for the answer?
I don't know how much I could offer you. I had just asked because I thought it might be relevant. Maybe if it was someone that we knew, then we would have information to gain from her. I didn't mean to intrude, but unfortunately it seems like your private life is quite important to the private lives of everyone, ever. To us, at least.
Finnileas has a great suggestion. Do you want to offer that?
Okay. Podcast listeners, I need you to understand that Finnileas suggested that I trade my life. Angry flippy boy.
Or Abel's life. He didn't really specify.
Oh, well, I guess.
Oh, so you're going to threaten Abel? This is probably a good idea.
Well, surely he could just undo his spell and we'd all die.
But we'd all be born again.
I don't know.
not if he's dead.
Yeah, because he just gets reborn and comes back and starts it all over.
But that would be what's ending.
Yeah, that's not what I got out of it. His life is the only reason we keep coming back. I'm pretty sure.
But I don't exactly have anything to give, and I was just hoping for some something useful we could use. Useful.
He goes, so, the problem this world has, this cult is trying to stop this thing.
Undo what you've done?
They want to destroy the world. So they try from inside. And they're really good at it. I know they've seen like they're kind of bumbling people. Sometimes the group isn't able to stop any of them. Sometimes the gnolls that are sent to the Vale at the beginning are enough to destroy you guys early on. And so they win more often than not, actually. About 3,871 times the cult has won.
Damn, we suck.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, how about an end to
So what you're saying is the odds are never forever in our favor.
Odds are nothing. Preparation is everything.
And then how do we prepare?
Well, you've got to destroy the cult. All of it. From the top down.
Every finger, every branch?
Every finger, every branch. And then you've got to somehow figure out how to kill the incarnation of a god.
With Tiamat?
Wait, what?
With the halberd, huh? Hello.
Are you referring to Tiamat or to the god of death?
Tiamat's boring. Ooh, fire, lightning, blue. She's the same. Almost every time. And Asmodeus is a little bit of a tricky son of a bitch. But that, Sajuri, that's the one. If you can cut off him, he's like the focusing lens for that power.
Well, how do we kill Sajuri? Sorry, Rabijan.
Okay.
So, we do have a problem, and I'm a little upset about it. The smaller problem. Grok, you've currently stolen my history books. And
You
Onyx,
can have them back.
Onyx,
I don't mind.
You set
Yeah.
a piece of my history on fire.
They're being distracted by stupid stuff.
Onyx, you make me laugh, and I truly feel for the tragedy of your family. Never burn one of these journals again. Oh, Onyx. Rock has a melting point just like everything else, my friend.
Burn!
Literally.
Oh, burn!
I just want to point out that Rabbi Jam went from terrified of Abel to cheering on him whenever he makes bad jokes.
Onyx, did somebody put your family in a rock tumbler?
Huh?
There's a section of my life that's dedicated to just Grok and Onyx conversations.
Bad things happen to my family. Jethero. I killed Jethero twice. Game over.
Supposedly you've killed Jafero more than twice now.
Ooh.
Oh, well, this will probably make you feel better, Onyx. Almost every time you kill Jethero.
Can you take me where I didn't so I can do it for him again and just...
At that time when he destroyed your town, he destroyed you with it. 100% of the times that you've gathered a group and fought him in combat or faced him in combat, you've won.
That does mean that pretty much every time he's wronged you, Onyx.
No. He's murdered him a few times. Sometimes he wrongs him really good in the beginning, makes it hard to come back from that.
Abel, I would consider murdering someone to be wronging them.
Not all of us are able to bounce back from death.
Quite few of us, if we go by this room alone.
Technically, we've all bounced back several times, but it's been my doing the entire time. Hey, speaking of that, what are your guys' plan to fight the cult? Wait, what do you need, Finnileas? As Finnileas raises his hand, Abel stops the question and looks at Finnileas and goes, "What can I do for you?"
Oh, well, you just said that not all of us can come back from the dead.
Next time, don't raise your hand, raise your foot.
So, we thought our plan was to come in here and stop the cult from performing some sort of ritual. But,
that is an important thing to do. You should always stop the cult from performing rituals.
well, we came in here to do that, and here you are.
Yeah, Rabbi-chan hasn't seen any cult things here.
Oh no, this is where I live.
And it's not through the wall.
Almost exclusively. No, we're surrounded in the abyss. We're not even on the planet right now.
We're not even on the planet right now? Yeah.
I tell you what, I have a solution, and I'm gonna do that solution to you. Before that happens, do any of you have a question?
I have lots of them.
Me too! I think there are a lot of questions that need to be asked.
Well, let's ask
Actually, you
him.
never answered mine.
Ask your question then, Ren. What's your question?
What exactly are you?
I don't know. I simply am. I've existed long before your world has. I came from the same void as that guy that fought the being of light. Now I am nowhere near their stature, and I was created out of that combat as well. But my home is the void. Sometimes people ask me for things and I give it to them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes I require people and beings to do things for me. Sometimes I don't. I've made the mistake of coming to this planet. I became very attached to it for personal reasons, and I don't want to see it destroyed.
Alright then, I want the means to destroy the cult.
Okay, what other questions do you guys have?
I mean, I'm gonna trade whatever you want for it.
Who's in charge of the cult?
Do you mean metaphorically? Do you mean literally?
Okay, I'll say it in another way. Point me in the direction of whose ass I have to kick.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be Sajiri, the avatar of Sajiri.
Where are they?
That's the avatar of the god of death, torture, and destruction that happened to be on the planet when I did my thing. That little son of a bitch managed to project himself moments before I did my thing.
How do we handle that?
You need about 10 more years of life. You're to be stronger than you are now.
10 years?
Give or take.
Do we have that time?
Give or take.
Apparently we do.
The only question I have is, whenever you do this thing that you're getting ready to do, if we're successful, can we have a very long conversation where you answer all of my questions?
Yes. If you're successful, I won't do the thing that I gotta do.
Excellent.
The problem is, no matter how successful you are up to a certain point, 4,771 times, the end result was destruction. And instead of letting this planet be destroyed, I kind of hit the reset button.
Have I ever asked to have that conversation before?
Every time.
Dang. We'll do better.
I hope so. Any other
We'll
questions?
try. Is there anyone that we should seek out for guidance?
Oh, no. I'll take care of that. Last
Um,
call.
Anyone
go-
we can seek out for violence?
Oh, Onyx.
You.
Nobody has to tell you when to seek out people for violence. You do a pretty good job of finding people for your halberd.
I have one more question that I think I'm ready to hear the answer for. The others I'll maybe leave for the next time we can talk like this, because we will talk like this again. In the past, of this past, when I've spoken to the you that isn't you, you said that later you might tell me about my parents, or what's left of them. And I don't mean to be negative, but it's just I've heard things here and there, and things have happened, and I know that we're to destroy the entirety of the cult. And I just want to know, will I have to put them down?
You have to destroy the cult, not the people.
Basil sort of looks off for a second, and it looks like he's sort of accepting that answer, and he just sort of nods and goes, "Okay."
All right. He looks at Rabijan and he goes, I have one favor to ask for you. Pretty please.
Okay.
May I see your book?
Ravijan hesitates for a second and then hands the book that she keeps with her to Abel.
You guys see her pull out a brown leather black book with some black bindings and a little bookmarky thing. Abel quietly reads it, kind of quick, not quite like Short Circuit, but he flips through it pretty good. And at the end, he smiles and he wipes a tear and he hands you the book back, and then everything goes black for everybody. I'm going to ask you guys a question again, and we're going to go in order. So I'm going to start with Ren. Ren, had your character never become a Defender of the Veil, what would Ren be doing?
Probably a detective in some city, like crimes and stuff like that. Maybe some sort of vigilante, like cops in the day, but vigilante at the night.
I'm imagining that guy with a face mask that shifts from the Watchers or the Watchmen.
Yeah, something like
Rorschach?
Rorschach. You're trapped in here with me.
I was
With a friend
picturing
accent, please.
Batman.
Like with a tiny Batman.
Rin's more Robin-sized.
Bat Boy, I'm sorry.
All right, Basil, since you're hilarious, what would you
You're
have
the
been doing?
Robin.
What would you have been doing, Basil, if you were not a Defender of the Veil?
Basil would have been probably still doing some kind of adventuring, looking for a place to call home and people to call family, and trying to learn things wherever he goes.
Would have stumbled upon Ren and they would have had a buddy cop movie adventure.
Oh, yeah, I'll be the bad cop.
The other guys.
Cool.
I don't think you can be the bad cop, Basil.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll be bad at being a cop.
We're bad at being a bad cop. Onyx, what would you have been doing had you not been a Defender in the Veil?
He would probably most likely still be a miner, down mining, living his boring little life.
Okay. And Grok, what would your Dragon Turtle board be doing had you not been a Defender of the Veil?
Probably just be making potions with the potion lady. For some reason, I can never remember her name.
Matilda.
I can.
Yeah, you can. Of course you're never going to forget her name. Every time he walks into Matilda's hut, you hear Spice Girls, "You want to be my lover?"
Nah. What artificer created this monstrosity?
Roland, what would you be doing had you not become a Defender of the Veil?
Roland would probably just be wandering like he always had. Presuming that current events occur whether Roland is part of a guild or not, he would most likely defend whatever region he was in at the time, or maybe he would return home to protect his family.
Rabijan?
Rabijan would still be helping people in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's as small as like having a soup kitchen or something, or as big as being Rabijan now. She would still be doing whatever she could to help people.
Finnileas.
Finnileas would have been traveling from city to city, exploring the great libraries, looking for the answer to the question that he has had for a while now.
Why is Ren his stepdad?
If Belethiel ever hears you make that joke, she will disassemble you at the atomic level.
Oh. I'm gonna turn you into kitchen wire.
So, what happens now is you guys have jumped forward in some time, right? This is like a montage for each of you, where you're each doing something of that line. Ren, you've managed to start kind of a spy network, kind of people who you have loose affiliations with the local authority, but you do good for good, not good for the rules, right? So you have no problem turning over corrupted officials and things like that when you run into them, because you're not technically a part of them.
Of course I don't.
And so, in your time, you've made a lot of arrests and a lot of stuff. You've gotten in fights. You maybe have a few more scars from some close calls, and you actually, you're going to have a perk that I'm going to message you in a minute. Basil, you spent a little bit more time with the Great Sage. You got to spend more time running with them. The two monks, Ron and what's the other one's name?
Mango.
You still met them, and they travel with you, and you guys go through and do all sorts of cool little training under waterfalls, kind of montages where you help and do good where you can, and you've kind of developed a family. Now the Great Sage isn't with you now, but you got a little bit more time as you kind of integrated those two into your school of monkeyness. And you've done all sorts of stuff, man. You guys have fought a dragon. You guys have, built an orphanage. You guys have done all sorts of great stories like that. And if you each want to come up with a story, that's great. And I'm going to whisper you, Basil, there's going to be a thing as well. Each of you, if I don't tell you the thing, and by the end of the day or tomorrow or the next day, make sure that I tell you the thing before a couple of days in the next game. Feel free to message me on Facebook, Discord, text me. Make sure I give you the thing. I've already picked Ren. I'm not going to change this sentence at all. I'm going to say it straight up. I've already picked Ren's thing.
All right. It didn't take long.
Oh, jeez. Onyx, speaking of you, everything happened that happened. You don't remember necessarily why you had to go kill Jethero, but the things that happened to your family happened. You killed Jethero. You went back and you found random survivors, because pieces of your culture, people from your city, went from far and wide, and you've effectively started rebuilding your city. Now, you don't want to be the boss of your city. It's not who Onyx is, right?
Right.
But you have done a lot of the legwork out of necessity, which seems like who Onyx is, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you've gone through and you've worked with some of the different towns and cities, and you've reached out to the people in the Vale, in Center Vale, and the Elven Kingdoms, and you've gotten other countries to realize what your plight was, and to kind of send some supplies or maybe send some security forces as you gather your people and start to regrow. Fortunately, some people helped take care of those mind flayers, so that's not a problem anymore.
One day they were gone, so it worked out good.
Out of all the people, Rabbi Jan, you're the only one who still lives in Centervale. Your church is thriving. It's huge now. You've outgrown the building twice. There's now room for about 500 people in there, and the town of Centervale has grown as well. A lot of people have started to come to you to ask for more moral leadership in the town. And even though you're not a part of the council that rules the city, or you're a part of those defenders who kind of run the security of it, they still come to you often for help, aid, and guidance. And your O'Malley's still there. He doesn't look happy. He's a very sullen individual, but he's still there helping you out as he can. And you're not quite sure why. You've always suspected he's probably stronger, right? In character terms, you've always suspected he's higher character level than you, but you've never known why. Grok, you would be... I'm sorry, I lied. You live near. We're going to just let it be straight up. Matilda has taken you in and has worked with the alchemical arts with you. You now work with her and building potions. That's all you do. You brew potions and chat and talk about being a dragon turtle born. And there's a library that's in town that's built by the Silwyn family that you go to sometimes and check out a lot of books. And you've become friends with the attendants there. You don't know any of the actual Silwyn family, but there are some attendants there. and so they will often bring you rare books to check out for your companionship.
Awesome.
Finnileas, you're everywhere, man. You've been to the deserts, you've been into the swamp, you've been into both elven capitals. Currently, you're about 1,000 feet under the surface of the Vale in the Dwarven Kingdom. The Dwarven Kingdom has some very ancient libraries which haven't been affected by any of the wars because it's hard to mess with the dwarves in their hometown. So you've been there for the last couple of years just studying books. And in that time, you've had to answer a lot of questions, and you kind of look at that as your way of paying for room and board while you do stuff. So they've asked you about teleportation circles, and you've helped slightly with that, helping set up some stuff so they can move things from side to town and stuff like that. Nothing you would be uncomfortable with, but definitely, I'm assuming Finnileas would definitely be willing to work out some of that in trade for being able to stay pretty much in their libraries with room and board.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you basically help out with whatever infrastructure things you could, bring some knowledge to them, but they've got all these wonderful ancient books that you've been diving into. Roland, you live in the swamp, bro. The swamp was dying out. There's a swamp that's kind of in the bottom corner between the Vale and the desert, and you've managed to go down into the swamp because you look like a swamp man sometimes, and it hurt your heart that this natural ecosystem was dying away. So since you've been there, the swamp has grown back a lot. There was some things going on that you've managed to correct. There was some magic effects that had changed water flows, and there's some economic stuff. Economic. What am I trying to say?
Ecological.
Ecological. That's it. There's some ecological issues that I'm not smart enough to know how to describe. That I don't know if you're smart enough to describe, but your druid certainly knew what they were, and he's been working on fixing them. In that time, you've been kind of passive-aggressively battling a young black dragon that's tried to take over the swamp. So you're currently in the middle of that mix.
Is it like a prank war that we just kind of keep playing pranks on each other?
It is now. Oh, my swamp smells like ass. Where did all these dead fish come from? All of you guys are now level 18.
Level what?
Wait, but Jesus.
Holy
Wait, what?
cow.
We're all level 18. I need you to level your characters up to level 18.
Oh my god, it's 5 levels!
Sounds like the beginning of the end, man.
Oh my god.
I was just hoping to get one out of tonight.
Yeah, me too.
This is kind of the beginning of the end. You now are aware of the big bad guy of your campaign. Kind of. You were aware, and then I took that
I can't
memory.
say his name though.
I have to look at it. Sajiri.
Sujiri.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Defenders of the Vale. You can follow the cast on Facebook at Defenders of the Vale or on Twitter at Defenders Vale. Please subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you find podcasts. Tell your friends about us too. Make sure you tune in next week for more shenanigans from the Vale. Until then, guilties, farewell.
Okay, so now this is a story all about how my life got twisted, turned upside down. I'd like to take just a moment. You guys sit right there. I'll tell you how we became Prince of Valor.
Nice little backflip off the edge of the bridge.
I couldn't help it. Oh, I love and hate you guys, apparently. All right, sorry. Sorry, I'm focused. I'm back now. The best was...
You're back in the room.
No, stop. Ricky.
I'm gonna put my hand on her and be like, Ravi, are you okay? Was that a bad laser? For a laser, it looked pretty good.
Did you fucking say bad laser?
Yeah. He doesn't know what's happening.
Is it because she's a cat? Is that why it's a bad laser?
What do you mean?
The red dot.
The Red Dot.
I hate you right now and love you, Basil.
Oh, that's a great name for a tabaxi wrestler, by the way. The Red Dot.
That's a great name for an anti-tabaxi wrestler.
True. Like the king of the tabaxi ring.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. And this week on SummerSlam, we got the Red Dot versus Mouse on a String. Coming to you live from Cat Theater. Dang it, you derailed me.